Hi guys, this is Jeremiah Wong from Frontier Precision, and today I'm going to shoot a little video on generating a photogrammetry mission within UgCS for the DJI M300 and the P1. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to open up UgCS. As you can see, it's up here right now. And then I'm going to go to the top left and I'm going to create a new route. Again, we can create a route from scratch, or we can import a file too, and we can rename it. I'm just going to use the defaults and create from scratch. I'll pick the DJI M300. Again, in these, it depends on your specific conditions, but the return to home return to home altitude, I'll usually set this a little bit higher. So for here, I'm going to probably set it to 80. And then again, you'll see a crazy number here for maximum altitude above ground. I go a little bit deeper into this in another video, but more or less is if I'm planning a mission not on site and I'm pretty far away from it, UgCS will throw up errors and it won't plan the mission. So for me, in order for me to plan the mission and see those flight lines, I end up changing some of the settings so it'll actually plan the mission for me. But once I'm happy with this, I'll click OK. And then I will exit out of that waypoint mode, and then I'm going to do photogrammetry. So with photogrammetry, I'm going to go to the left right here, and I'm going to click on photogrammetry tool. We're going to choose the camera. So let's say we're going to use the default lens on the P1, which is a 35 millimeter. Our ground sampling resolution, again, depending on what you fly, there are ground sampling GSD calculators out there. But for this, I'm just going to shoot for a 1 centimeter GSD. My front overlap is going to be, I'm going to change that to 70. In general, I like to keep a 70-70 overlap. When it comes to these, anything below 70-70, most software generally will have a little bit trouble getting the tie points between the images. So in general, we want to be flying at least a 70-70. When it comes to the next setting, the camera tap facing forward, is the top of the camera is always going to be facing forward. So when it flies the mission, it's going to go around, turn, and go around like that. Direction angle, we'll get to this when I draw the box. Actually, I'll just draw the box right now. So if I draw the box to start the mission, I'm just going to double click on the ground, double click on the ground, double click, and then to end the command, we'll right click and it ends the command. Once that's done, you'll see the flight lines being built or be built, and then you can actually change the direction angle like that, or you can actually go through and change it on here. So if I wanted exactly 90 degrees, I can type in 90 and it'll do that. Again, avoid obstacles, action, execution, every point. These are things that I leave on default because you kind of just want to leave those. Additional waypoints, I'm not really doing any kind of additional waypoints or things like that. You can always set your overshoot, so it will do its best to follow your flight lines or follow the flight plan, but overshooting and overshoot speed just allows it to maybe go a little bit quicker, a little bit slower, or go a little bit farther in order to make a specific waypoint or a turn. It just gives it a little more cushion in terms of where it exactly has to be. Because you can kind of think if it's flying in the air and it's a windy day, it can be pushed around a bit. So getting to a specific point can get a little bit hard. So if you do some overshoot, it gives it a little bit leeway into planning the mission. Right here, we have our altitude mode. It's going to be above ground level, and our AGL tolerance is 3 meters. So it's going to vary 3 meters when it goes and flies. You can do double grids if you want. Turn that off. The other thing that's really important that you need to do, though, is you have to actually go through and set your camera altitude. So you have to set the camera angle. So right now, if you flew it, the camera is just going to be pointing forward, but we want it to tilt down at 90 degrees, so we can hold that nadir. So right there, we're going to click on this guy right here that says set camera altitude and zoom, and then tilt, I'm just going to type in 90 and hit enter. So what that's going to do, it's going to go through and make sure that camera is tilted 90 degrees or perpendicular to the ground before it starts the mission. And then this right here, set camera by distance, it's actually going to go through and set the camera trigger at a specific distance. And then right here, if you can see, it says auto, so it's automatically going to do it. But once we have that set, you can see that it plans the photogrammetry mission, it plans it at the height. If we go to parameters and we go to show elevation, we can actually see that the max and min altitude is going to be 77 meters for the minimum altitude at AGL, and the maximum altitude is going to be at 82 meters. It's going to go up to that height at a maximum. And this mission is going to take about 10 minutes to do with about 20 waypoints. So that's planning a photogrammetry mission within UgCS. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. You can find us at UAS@frontierprecision.com. Hopefully this helps you out in planning your photogrammetry missions. I'll talk to you guys later.